Hey everybody, welcome back to Tin's Tinker Time. I hope everybody's having a good day. Today, we're thinking Easter. I know it's maybe a little bit early, but found some cool stuff at the Dollar Tree today. So I picked up a few things and I had a really neat idea to make like a banner, like a garland. But we're going to use this fabric and some craft bunnies. So I just kind of laid out everything that we need. So I've got some scarves. One of them's an infinity and one of them, oh, I guess they're both. But found these at the Dollar Tree and you get a lot of fabric on these. And we're going to be doing, really we're going to be covering the bunnies with the fabric. I bought two. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need. So I do have some extra fabric that I just had, like some scraps from other things that I've done. Tried to pick something that was spring, and you can always, whatever colors you like, whatever designs you find that you like, definitely go ahead and use those. I picked up some of these eggs. Now there's 10 of these and we're actually gonna unassemble them, but I thought these eggs were super cute to add that Easter feel. And also, of course, we're gonna need Mod Podge, paintbrush, scissors, and we're gonna use twine to actually make the string. We're going to use twine for the string for the garland. And we're going to start with these bunnies. So this is 8. Comes with 8 bunnies and it is on a string. So it is already a garland, but we're going to take it apart. Alright, so we're taking this apart. And you can see it's all strung together, but we don't care about that. So I'm actually going to take all of the bunnies off. Okay. And you can always save the string for another project, or if you have just a stash pile, I mean, there's no reason to waste it. You might need it for something else. So the next thing that we're going to do, just going to move this out of the way. The next thing I'm going to do with these bunnies is actually cut the pom-poms off. Just be careful not to cut the actual bunny part. If you do, not a big deal. And if you leave a little bit here, it's fine because we are going to reuse these. So just set the bunny poofs to the side. So now we've got all of our bunnies, and we're just going to start with one. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I'm going to take one of these scarves, and I did the scarves just because, one, I really like the pattern on these. I thought it was cute and spring, and it didn't think, you know, major Easter colors. And also for if that's all you have access to and you don't have a lot, you know, you don't want to spend a bunch of fabric. Now you can get like fat quarters or, you know, fabric. Most Walmarts have that now, or I know some got rid of it, but I think most have fabric back in, or at least you can buy like the fat quarters or just the bundles. So you could always do that. But if you don't have access to that, or if you don't want to spend that, I wanted to, you know, another alternative to doing the actual fabric, you know, buying fabric Walmart or something, is just to use these scarves. Now, with this, this color, the bunny, it will show through a little bit. I don't think that's a big deal because we're putting this colorful fabric over it anyways. So it's not a big, huge deal. I am going to cover the side that has the cotton on it. So either way, so what we're going to do, and when we did this before in another video with the framing video, but we're going to cover this in Mod Podge. So with doing this, doing it on this felt, because these are like little felt bunnies, you may use a little bit more Mod Podge than you would on a wood piece. So keep that in mind. You can also buy the Mod Podge at the Dollar Tree as well, but you might need to buy a couple of them just to give you enough to actually cover the bunny, because it does soak this up. So keep that in mind. So we're going to cover this bunny in the Mod Podge, and then I'll show you the next step. Now what I did, I've got this all covered with Mod Podge because it is one long piece. I mean, you can definitely cut it before you cover it, but I just covered it, and I'm just going to cut it now. I've gotten it all covered with my Mod Podge. So I wanted to show you because we've gotten one covered. So we have, there's 8 bunnies all together. So there's plenty. You can do, I would say 4 or 5. So really with this kit, I mean, you get 8 bunnies. 2 of these will cover all 8 bunnies. So $3, you can do this. If you don't have any twine on hand, you can also buy this at the dollar store. This one I got at Walmart, but you can get the same thing at the Dollar Tree as well. So keep that in mind. For the bunnies, 2 things of fabric and the twine. You don't have to do the eggs. That's up to you. Of course, if you have to get Mod Podge, I mean, a few dollars, and you can make your own really cute garland for Easter to fit. And you can use whatever design fabric and things that you like. So I think that's a pretty good deal. I mean, to buy something like this at like Hobby Lobby or even Walmart or some other like Target or something, I mean, you're going to probably pay $20, $25 for a cute fabric Easter garland. You could do this for any holiday. I just did Easter because that's the time of year it is. And I saw these bunnies. I thought they were super cute. So just keep that in mind when doing this. Like, you might spend a little bit, but if you were to go out and buy something like this, it would cost you way more. And this isn't that, I mean, it's not that hard. It's more time because now we have this covered. We need to let it dry. You can pop it in the oven at the lowest setting that you have for around 5 to 10 minutes. I've never done with the felt. I've done that with wood and it works fine. I'm going to test it out with the felt and see how long it takes. I don't think it's going to take as long because it is fabric. It's more of a fabric, so it'll dry out a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go do that. So I'm going to cover all my bunnies with my different fabrics, let them all dry, and then we'll be back and I'll show you how I kind of put everything together and make it into this cute garland. Okay, so the last thing we did was covering these in Mod Podge and putting them in the oven to dry. So I'll show you the next step that we're going to do is I'm just using my X-Acto knife, or you could use a straight edge razor or something, whatever you have. You could use scissors if you like. I feel like the razor gives more of a clean cut, and we're just going to use this to cut around the edges, to cut the fabric away, to cut all the excess. And of course, you're going to do this on all of your bunnies. Okay, so you got all of your bunnies cut out. The next thing we're going to do is got my hot glue gun, and we're going to, oh, need another glue stick in here. We are going to put its little cotton ball back on. So put its little tail back on here. To push that back on. And then the next thing that I did was I had all of those eggs on these sticks. What I actually did was I just took them off the stick. So I just popped this off, and don't worry about this because it's going to be covered up. And then I just pulled the little bow off and saved the stick for something else. You never know. I'm all for saving things. So then what I did was actually this. I created a bow using some of the twine that I had, just a single strand of twine, and made a bow, and I'm going to show you in a minute, and then glue the bow to the egg. So on the end of my garland, I used 2 strands, so we made a little bit of a bigger bow. Do the same thing for the smaller bow, but with 1 piece of string. So you make your 2 loops, like you're going to tie them in a knot. And this is how you get that really cute bow, and then the strings fall down to the bottom. I know if you tie a knot first, it'll have like one up here and one down here. So when you do just the loops, it helps to create that, and you can shape it a little bit. So on the ends of the garland, I'm using this double strand bow, but we're still going to have the egg on it. So what I'm going to do now, and this I already did with all of the other eggs, just a little bit of glue on here. Put your bow right on top. So there we have that. So then I'll show you the garland. So what I did, I used the white ribbon that came with these felt bunnies, and I took 2 pieces of twine and I just did a braid on it. Now, I did have some of this put together already, you know, for video purposes. And this actually is not long enough to use all of the bunnies that came with it. You could certainly make it longer if you wanted to be able to use all of them. I'm going to choose, so I only have enough left to add 1 more bunny. So I'll show you adding a bunny. So what I did, I just put this underneath, kind of measured out where I wanted it to be. Put a little bit line of hot glue on the back of the bunny and stick my string down to it. And you can use, you know, just a couple pieces of twine, just the ribbon. It's really up to you. I liked doing the twine because it matched what I was doing with the bows, but I like using the white because it brought in some other color. It wasn't just brown string. So I wanted to do that. So then what we do is I just flip this over. So you have, this is the string that I left, and we're putting one of these bigger ones, the bigger bow, on the end. So this is same thing. Put a little bit of hot glue on the back of this, or that egg. Decide where I want it, and just hot glue that onto the egg. And that's how I did all of these. So the smaller ones I put in between the bunnies, and then I did this big one on this end, and I did a big one on the other end. So you can see, I'll pull this up here a little bit. So there you have, I've got my bunnies on there, and I've got my little eggs in between. And that's it. I mean, you've got it put together. You can put some little hook or something, or, you know, leave a long piece of strand. But I wanted to use these bows, and I think I'm going to add it to the bunnies. I wanted to reuse these little ribbons. There, give one a little tie. Gives it a little something. And brings in some of that color. So I'm going to add these little ribbons. That's pretty much it. We've got everything put together. I will hang it up, and then I will show you what that looks like with it all together. But you can see on this end, I did the same thing. I had the big bow with the egg, and then I did each egg in between with a small bow in between each bunny. And I do have 2 extra bunnies, and I ended up with 3 other eggs, which I might do something with that with just the 2 of them, and then have the 3 eggs on it. But with the way I braided this, which I'm loving, the way I braided this wasn't long enough. So I did end up with a few extras, but that's not a big deal. So that's it, guys. I'm going to hang this up, and I will show you what it looks like, because it's all completed. All right, so here it is completed, and I just kind of temporarily hung it so you guys could see. So there you have it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to turn it so you guys can see the whole thing, and I'll try to put a picture that I took as well. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this little craft for Easter. And you could always, you know, depending on the fabric that you use, if you did it longer, you would have had more, but I actually kind of like this size. It fits perfectly in like a little doorway or like on a wall or something. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.